I want to thank everybody for coming to the second in a series of DePIN spaces that Suburban Crypto and I are hosting. A special shout out to DIMO Network for allowing us to host this AMA and learn more about their protocol. So throw those emojis up for our special guest speakers and co-founders of DIMO. We have Alex and Rob here.
Oh, hello. Thanks for the intro.
Oh, yeah,
Wow.
I got
I
you.
love the I love the sound effects. Yeah. Thanks for coming, everybody.
Also, I guess let's just dive right in. We're going to be asking them some questions first, but we will allow you guys to come up also and ask yours as well. So if you are requesting, just give us a few and we'll get you up here. So also Suburban Crypto, I call him the Fleet King. I don't know if you guys know this or not. I don't know if he even likes that, but I think it's funny.
It's a term of endearment. I think that Deep in Connection, who's on here as well, I think he's the king, and I'm just the understudy at this point. So I'm trying to catch up with him on the daily. But
You're so humble. I love it. Okay, so I want to go ahead and just start this off. I like to also explain things to people in ways that they can understand because some people might not know what blockchain tech is, or DPINs, or nodes, or what RWAs and these acronyms and stand for. So, what is DPIN and what is DEMO and what do these acronyms stand for?
So DePIN literally just means decentralized physical infrastructure network. And actually, I see Mike Zajko in the audience here from Lattice. He had an earlier version of this called TIPIN, and then Asari came in and popularized DePIN. So I give a lot of credit to these guys. They hosted like a TIPIN summit way before it was cool at Lattice. They're one of our investors, and we love them very much. Decentralized physical infrastructure networks really just means it's an infrastructure network, meaning it's something like cell coverage and cloud storage and GPU compute, or in our case, vehicle connectivity platform. So it's some type of infrastructure. It's a network, and it's decentralized. It's not deployed by one company. A lot of traditionally think of like a cell network that's run by Verizon. It's a pretty centralized network, and then a network like Helium is a pretty decentralized network. There's not somebody orchestrating where all the different Helium nodes go up. There's just incentives, and people collaborate and participate. Again, same for DIMO. DIMO is digital infrastructure for moving objects, so keeping with the acronyms that start with D. And that's what the project that we're building. And it's a protocol to connect any car on the planet and make it smart and programmable. Cars are great hardware technology. They're great EV motor and battery. They're getting very fast. The self-driving stuff's getting very good, but as like software-defined, connected, universal, programmable devices for data, permissions, messaging, commands, payments, they're really far behind in the programmability. And so we're building that as a decentralized network.
Let's go. Thank you for explaining those to us. And for the second question I want to ask is why is vehicle data and information on driving habits so valuable?
On that, the auto industry is, when you consider everything from manufacturing vehicles to the vehicle sales industry, the average car is sold 3, 4, 5 times, insurance, maintenance, dealerships, just like all the infrastructure around that. It's trillions and trillions of dollars of industry. The amazing part of all that is that there's no way for these players in the industry, from let's say a dealership to an OEM to an insurance company to a maintenance company, there's no way that they have to easily share data amongst themselves. That's a huge problem. And the way that problem manifests is in higher costs for drivers and higher costs for these businesses. A very simple example that we like to give is, imagine instead of driving down to the repair shop, you could actually share your vehicle data with a mechanic before making that trip. You could actually maybe diagnose what's wrong with your car, or at least get a better idea before you take that trip. Carvana and tons of other sites actually buy cars sight unseen. It's possible, but it's not done today. It's possible to share data with those companies before transacting with them. In all of these instances, that data can influence a transaction, whether it's maintenance or insurance or buying and selling the car. It can influence the transaction to the tune of hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Carvana might be willing to pay thousands of dollars more for your car if the data on it indicates a car that's really clean. I think one of the misconceptions that people make is that DIMO is all about aggregating big data sets of data and selling that in bulk to all of these companies. The reality is, we're all about empowering drivers to be in control of their own data so that as you go through the life cycle of this car, as you go through the maintaining this very expensive asset that you own, you can maximize the value of that asset. You can maximize the value of your time by being in control of the data. That's the short answer. There's a lot of data that can be used to impact the future development of cars and the future development of connected vehicle infrastructure and autonomous vehicle infrastructure. But the really simple thing to remember from all of this is that if you're in control of your own data over the life cycle of your car, it's going to pay you back in the form of how you transact on insurance, maintenance, how you eventually buy or sell your vehicles, and of course, a whole bunch of other ways and applications that we're bringing to DIMO.
I love that you said that, Alex, because if anyone doesn't have a DIMO right now, or if you do, there's this, I think people sleep on it, this function of the DIMO app. It's called the glove box. And being able to upload service records, registrations, like having all these things digitally, I think once there's more of that data, I think it's almost like having a Carfax, but with Carfax doesn't report to everyone, or everything doesn't report to Carfax, excuse me. But having service records from when you took ownership of a vehicle to when you sell it, there's potential for huge dollars, less of a strike on your investment, if that makes sense. But your vehicle's worth more because you have that proof of what it is, what you've spent on the vehicle, and that you've done that maintenance on it, not just change the oil every 3 years, whether it needed or not. I love that you brought that up.
Carfax, of course, is a well-known entity in the space. They've been around for a long time, but Carfax doesn't get any telematics data. They don't get any data from the day-to-day operations of the vehicles. They are plugging into dealership networks and repair shop networks, and they're able to source some data about the repairs and things that go into a car. I think on average, Carfax has about 7 data points on the car, 7 interactions or seats over its life cycle. And when you can compare that to a device or an API that is collecting maybe hundreds of data points a minute about a car, maybe more, it just really pales in comparison to what you can understand from the journey of the vehicle to be. There's actually a complementary side to what Carfax does. It's not like a total replacement, but it's the perfect way to think about what we're doing. We're like giving the car another set of history about itself that's informed by even more data based on what's going on inside the car.
One other thing I want to say about the data side too, we can zoom out and think a little bigger about what you can build with DIMO. I'll provide some examples. And it's, in a way, it's almost, imagine you're standing in front of Steve Jobs, who's showing you the first iPhone with an app store, and he's like, it's got GPS, it's got Bluetooth, it's got all this stuff. And you're like, who wants to buy GPS data, the Bluetooth data? It's not just buying the data, it's what you can enable with it, the apps you can build with it. You can build Google Maps, you can build IoT devices, you can build Bluetooth headphones that connect and listen to music. All these things you can do once it's got this functionality and programmability. So the original idea for DIMO, like back in 2020, and he's in Palo Alto, he's living across from a parking garage, and he bought like some sensors so he could 3D map the parking garage. And then the idea was you would mount sensors inside the garage and program the sensors to communicate with any vehicle from any automaker to help that vehicle that has some basic self-driving capabilities to go find a parking spot and park. And even if the self-driving wasn't perfect for that car, it's a controlled environment. There's no people. It's driving really slow. It's safe. We have all these sensors feeding it data. You could build a auto valet parking garage when you have like this programmability, but that idea died for 2 reasons. One, because of COVID and no one was driving anywhere and parking anywhere. But 2, because there was no shared digital infrastructure that could work across automakers that would let you send commands to vehicles, that would let you read data from cars, that would let you stream payments from cars to sensors and to garages and things like that. So it's not just like, how can we sell your traffic data, your weather data, your cell coverage data, the road quality data? It's like, how can we enable the car in front of you to talk to your car and let it know it's about to apply the brakes? How can we give you an AI-powered smart mechanic in your pocket that knows exactly what's going wrong with your car before your car even knows, and helps you get in front of it and manage your car and make it better? How can we let you text your friend a link to go find your car and drive it around for the weekend? So it's about enabling all the different types of applications you can have as well, in addition to like monetizing.
So, like for instance, last year we had to get my mother's minivan. The AC was not blowing as cold air as it should. So they said they fixed the problem. This year it started acting up again. So are you saying by using Demo, hypothetically, we could know exactly what's going on and wrong with her AC?
I guess there's a difference between what we currently support and what we could theoretically support in the future. The AutoPi that we sell is not reading any information related to the like performance of your air conditioner, and some things are just mechanical issues. And if your car is throwing up a signal saying that something is going wrong with it, sure. But sometimes these problems, like some types of vehicle problems, are more of a constellation of issues, and one thing could be impacting it versus another. If you get two of these different types of errors, it could be indicative of one root cause. Maybe we can help narrow things down. There's a lot you could do with better data. There's a lot you could do just watching how the car is performing and is being maintained to identify, even if there's not a specific error code being thrown, areas where there might be poor performance, or just like maybe you're stressing the engine too much and you're just like revving it way too high. The engine load is way too high, and you're going to kind of put your car into an early grave. And the AI knows for that specific year Mercedes, the engines were, it's a V4 type of engine that's a little bit, it's going to break down if you keep driving it like that. We can just be a little bit smarter about things. I'm not saying we can fix your air conditioner and the AutoPi will deploy a go-go gadget fan and keep you cold, but we can get there over time.
Yeah, you're so funny. No, I was just saying hypothetically in the future that could be something it like might be able to sense or whatnot. But William, you have your hand.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I was gonna say first off, thank you so much for having me up, guys. I love this space. I love both of you guys in the chat, always keeping it really lively in there. So thank you so much. Happy to talk to the Demo team here. Really love what you guys got going on. Suburban Crypto here hooked me up with a Demo device not too long ago, and I attached it.
All
And
right, yeah.
yeah,
So
exactly.
I thought William was going to say something, but I'm going to piggyback onto what Rob said.
Wait, can you not hear me,
There's a
Suburban?
saying that.
Yeah,
I can hear
you
you,
must
William.
not be able to hear. Yeah, we could. William's talking.
Oh shit! Sorry.
He's giving you shout outs too. He's thanking you for giving
Oh,
him the
I'm
device.
just gonna
But
take those shout outs
sorry.
back. Actually,
I'm gonna.
I'm unplugging the
I
Demo
think I
device
rushed. Sorry,
right
guys.
now.
I'll be right back.
I'm unplugging the Demo device right now, Suburban.
yeah.
So when you listen back to this, you'll. No, I'm just kidding. But I was gonna say about the Demo device and whatnot. I love that I can check on things like engine load, like you were just mentioning, and just learn things about my car that I didn't really even know before. And it's just really fascinating. So I just really appreciate what you guys have built. And I guess you veered off the topic of data sales, but I wanted to ground it back to that. So, in terms of like the value of the demo token, to my understanding, so please correct me if I'm wrong, but to my understanding, the value of the demo token comes from the fact that this data is being sold like on a weekly or whatever kind of basis it's being sold on. And then that value passes through the token. The token is then handed to the end user, aka myself and everyone else here. And then we can decide to either hold on to that token via use it for governance and whatnot and have our stake in the network, or we can decide to sell it or use it for like rewards built into the marketplace. Is that correct?
I think that
So
that's partially correct, but there's another layer, and this is again like the really big piece that is I think the most common misconception, which is that many of the companies that are paying for vehicle data are not doing it in bulk. They're not showing up to say, "Hey, we want to buy everyone's data at the same time because we have some use for that." What they're saying is, William, we'll launch in the next couple of weeks here. We're going to launch one of the first data integrations where you'll be able to shop for a used car warranty with a used car warranty marketplace. And what is going to happen is you're going to share a little bit of data with them. You'll share the make, model, year of your car, the odometer, and the state in which your car is. No, not even really any personal information, and not that all that much data right now. But you'll share that data. That allows them to go and generate and get a bunch of quotes for you, and allow you to potentially buy a vehicle warranty. In that instance, they're not buying all of the car's worth of data at once. They're paying for your data at the time that you show up. You're sharing it. They're making an API call which says, "Hey, let me get Will's data," because he's trying to give it to us. And they're paying for that data at that moment in time. And there are, when we talk about the companies that are showing up to build solutions like that, I would say probably 80% of the companies right now that we're talking to and are helping to build those kinds of integrations are interested in these one-to-one data sales, data purchases, as opposed to the aggregate data purchases. These warranty companies aren't showing up and saying, can we buy 100,000 cars worth of data so that we can run analysis on it and do models? They're saying when Will shows up, we want to pay for his data.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
and that makes complete sense too. I was going
yeah.
to say because according to your white paper, it's the way the token distribution seems to work is like you get paid a larger sum of tokens if your data was specifically sold. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, so there's a few things in there right now, and then there's a difference between, I guess, like where this could go and what's in there. And part of the interesting thing about a lot of these tokens, you look at like Uniswap and their token, right? Like it came with no kind of real demand other than you could use it for governance, but then they add like a fee. So these things are upgradable and can be shaped by the community. So what it came out of the box with was a weekly issuance that goes out no matter what, and that kind of goes down over time. And if people are paying for your data and paying a commission to you, like some type of loyalty thing, you'll get that in the form of tokens. Longer term, the calling it like a data sale, I think sells it a little bit short. Like these people are
Yeah, I
not
agree with
trying
that.
to buy your data; they're trying to build an app for your car that you'll love.
It's like you're sharing when you share a little data with Find My Friends or like Wordle or like some game on your iPhone. It's like, oh, are you selling them some data? Because like not really. Like they're trying to build something that some experience that you enjoy.
Yeah, and so you could think in the future, like maybe you go to your mechanic, and your mechanic that you always go to some shop nearby, he's download our app. It'll allow me to always see what's going on with your car, and I can message you when things are wrong, and you can book appointments with me, and I'll know exactly what kind of car you have. And every time I add a service record, it will automatically attach to your vehicle, and it will travel with you from place to place and help you sell your car for more. And we can diagnose everything using the error scanner that comes with DIMO. And isn't this a great app? It makes you want to continue to be my customer. And that's an example. Are you really selling that mechanic your data, or is that app that the mechanic is using your data, paying a monthly amount to be able to access that, resulting in some tokens being burned and some tokens going back to you and some type of rebate? So that's probably a better way of thinking about where the opportunity really is long term.
That makes complete sense. Yeah, but thank you both for really clearing that up and clarifying that. Thank you so much.
You're definitely not alone. Like a lot of the original talking points for DIMO were more about selling data, selling bulk data. And that is still what a lot of people tend to think this is all about. So something that we're working on is like how we tell the story a little bit better and paint a more visionary picture of what you can do with all this.
No, for sure. Like when it comes to data sales too, you can like really think about a lot of the way these data sales happen is an aggregate. So it makes sense that people would think, oh, they're aggregating a bunch of data and then selling the aggregate to mass consumers and whatnot. But that's not the case, obviously, here. Again, thank you so much for clearing that up.
Oh, I know you had a couple questions that you wanted to ask.
Yeah, sorry. I'm trying to shake off the embarrassment. And sorry about that, William.
Too late. I already sold my DIMO device. Sorry, Suburban. It's being sent back to you. Sorry.
Oh, cripes. We had a good run. I appreciate you. So I guess one of the things is that I posted something about it, and I try to post it every month or two, is that Mozilla back in September reviewed all of the different car manufacturers, all the OEMs, and how your data is already being, I don't want to say sold, but it is being sold, but it's being scraped without people's knowledge. Did that play into the decision for DIMO? Were you guys aware of that when you first started developing DIMO? Because it's
Yeah.
like, for me, it was like, it's freaking eye-opening because I'm a bit of a privacy nerd, and it's disturbing if you read that article. At least to me, it was like some of the stuff that they're gleaning off of your car, because the latest generation of cars are basically supercomputers, and so there's an insane amount of data. And just from my small experience, just seeing what I can get from DIMO and on the smart car integrations, like it's pretty crazy. And that's just mechanical stuff. And in that article, they talk about other things. So did that at all come into your guys' decision making with developing DIMO?
It absolutely did. And I would say that we believe that privacy is everyone's choice and right, of course. And the world is inherently a spectrum. There's going to be some people who say, never, ever take my data. Like, I think what DIMO is doing is wrong and shouldn't exist. And so, okay, that's fine. Don't connect your car at all. Buy a car that's 10 years old, never connected to the internet, and have a great life. That's cool. And then there's the people of my perspective, which is I think that data sharing is okay. I think the users should be in control. The users should have the ability to audit what is happening. Users should have to opt in to any sharing. They should have granular control over what's being shared. And in my opinion, if my data is going to be shared with an insurance company, I might as well share it with all of them and see who's going to give me the best price. In fact, when I got a new Toyota about 2 years ago, I tell a story a lot, but Toyota shares my data with Progressive. And initially, when I found that out and like saw the fine print and started getting emails from Progressive about it, I was like, that kind of sucks. But then I had that kind of second thought, which is, you know what? Honestly, if it was shared with 10 insurance companies and one of them came back cheaper than my current one, that'd be okay. And as long as I had some confidence that there were controls in place around what exactly was being shared, I might feel a little bit better about it. But I think that like the industry, the auto industry in particular, is filled with these examples, whether it's the car makers sharing your data, or I've been to the National Auto Dealer Conference, you go to a dealership show and you see all these tools that car dealers have that users and drivers don't have access to that tell them about the value and condition of vehicles. And you say, well, that's messed up. Shouldn't drivers have that? And the dealership people are like, no, like this is our advantage. Like, and I think all around that crypto has brought a lot of tools that can preserve privacy, but also still allow for more transparent information. And that's really the world that I'm most excited to see get created, because there's so much that can be improved upon with some more transparent data access, but should always be in the originator of the data's control.
I couldn't agree more. And sorry, that might have came as a bit of a softball of a question, but I just think that I implore everyone on the space to please read that article. It's pretty crazy. And yeah, just like what you said, it is a revenue stream for the car manufacturers at this point. And it's pretty wild that they think that because you're driving their vehicle that they deserve to sell your data, which is freaking wrong. Like, you're getting double dipped. You already bought the dang car. They shouldn't know that you drive to 7-Eleven every other Thursday to buy a hot dog. And if there's someone in the passenger seat, it's just crazy.
I would love if you posted that link in the chat, Suburban.
Actually, that was a spill because I obviously am not the best at spaces. Once again, sorry for talking over you. But yeah, it's a really good article. So please share it with anyone that is willing to read it. So another part of DIMO that I think that I don't want to say is hidden, but like the marketplace and the apps that are built on DIMO currently, I remember when it first launched, there was like, I think 1 or 2, but now it's getting more and more robust. Can you guys speak to what
There's
is
going
in
to
the?
be a ton more.
Well,
We put things on pause with marketplace partners for a while because we were getting ready to launch the developer platform, which is a lot of it is now live, not entirely. I mentioned, but you're going to start to see we have one more mobile app release to put out. There's going to be a huge upgrade to the marketplace in terms of design and navigation. And then we're going to start to release new marketplace partners, probably at least 1 a month, maybe 2 a month, and insurance companies, warranties, a whole bunch of other kinds of companies that are looking to build on DIMO and offer more services to drivers. And Rob gave a good analogy with the App Store.
Yeah, it'll be like an app store. Right now, you could think about like the partners that we have in there, like having websites but not fully featured iPhone apps, right? Like the things that we're going to have in the future building on the developer platform will be even more fully featured than the DIMO mobile app itself. There'll be entirely different experiences, maybe centered around performance or maintenance or social things. There's a lot of things that could be done, and you'll log in, your vehicles will already be there, all the data will be there. You won't have to type in your make, model, your car, and odometer and that kind of stuff. It'll all just flow through. And again, people can build apps for your car for you that make your day-to-day experience better.
That's amazing. One of the things that I personally use DIMO for is I oversee a decent sized fleet of fixed assets for a company, and it's pretty cool being able to see in real time what the mileage is, if there's any codes, and what the marketplace value is of the vehicle, because when you start looking at like bigger companies that have fixed assets, there's usually a depreciation schedule that after X amount of years they get rid of a vehicle or a certain amount of miles. And so from a fleet standpoint, I think there's a huge amount of potential for DIMO. And what do you guys see in the future for any type of fleet operations plans or building anything robust for fleet operators?
There are several companies building fleet interfaces for DIMO, and this is a great example to illustrate how the app ecosystem works. With these fleet interfaces, the DIMO mobile app is designed for, let's say, a handful of cars at the most. I think beyond that, it starts to get a little clunky. And if you have hundreds of vehicles, you want probably a desktop interface that allows you to navigate more easily what's going on with those cars. A handful of companies are developing that interface. And what will happen is if you've already connected those cars in DIMO, you will log in to your interface using your DIMO account, basically connect your wallet, and your cars will just be there. All of the historical information will be there, all of the current information will be there, and all of that is mediated through permissions and smart contracts that are built on the blockchain. You can revoke those permissions. You can say, hey, fleet interface, I don't want you to see my car data anymore, but you can use it as long as you find it useful. What's happening behind the scenes, this goes back to Will's point, what's happening behind the scenes is those fleet interfaces are consuming APIs that allow them to access that data, all of that reserve in demand for the protocol and the data. I think I don't want to spoil too much, but there's a handful of companies that are working on it. I think we'll announce one or two in the next few weeks. And there will be some specialization. Some might focus on Turo fleets, some might focus on just like general fleets, rental cars, some might focus on other applications over time. So that is a huge area that we know we need to address as there's so many people like you who are coming to us with large fleets that they need to manage.
Yes, and I will. Yes, and there's so much upside, and I think that kind of the secret sauce, as it may be with DIMO, and since it's still you guys are still a new company, like the input from the consumers is, I think, can help shape something that would be a very valuable tool versus going to, I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but let's say hypothetically Verizon, and they say, okay, this is the system, this is what you got, this is all the data that you get, and you don't get to have any inputs or any custom reporting or anything like that. I think that by starting something fresh, that there's a huge opportunity, and I think it's just going to benefit the end customer tremendously.
Yeah, it's another area where like the crypto analogy is really useful. The old way, the kind of Verizon example that you give, the old way of doing things is in the crypto sense, you open a bank account and your money is with the bank. And whatever features that bank gives you in terms of online banking, in-person banking, are the features you get. In crypto, you are in possession of your funds in your own wallet, and you can show up and say, hey, I want to see what features Uniswap has. And if Uniswap doesn't have features that you like, you can take your funds and go to a different interface or go to a different kind of product, go to a different crypto bank. Uniswap's an exchange, but you could get my drift. And that's really what we're building with DIMO, where you have your own car data and you're in control of it, and you can connect it to a different fleet interface if you like their features. You can connect it to Carvana if you want to sell your car and you like the features they have for that. Maybe you want to go and connect your car to a dealership network and sell your car that way.
That's huge. That's huge. I sorry, I'm trying not to be too much of a fanboy here because just a little bit biased because I think what you guys are doing is tremendous. So I guess one other thing, sorry, there's a lot more, but so there's something that I don't think gets a lot of play because it's not, I think a lot of folks that are in crypto that it's just okay, I just want this device. How much is it going to make me? And what's my return on investment? And I think what sets DIMO apart, and there's a few other projects that there's something tangible with it. It's not just this little doohickey that you're putting in your car, that things are constantly being built on it. And so I think another thing that doesn't really get discussed is like the Ignite program. Can you like talk at all about that and what incentives that DIMO or digital infrastructure is putting out there for people to build on DIMO to make it even more robust?
Yeah, we can talk about that quite a bit. And I think that the structure of it is maybe due for a reboot. There's a bunch of different people that are involved, and there's really nobody who's like making it their day job to go out and find good candidates for grants. But there's really a pretty wide mandate on what that can be for. And I would say there's probably two different categories of grant recipients. One is to take somebody who would build something cool on top of DIMO and just give them that extra nudge and resources to do it. So maybe that's like someone who's building a crypto game where you log in and your DIMO cars are there and you can race them in the metaverse or something like that, and then earn little NFTs or something like that to go with it. And it's a way to build some type of hybrid real world metaverse game or something like that would be a good candidate for a grant. But also what we've been mainly doing so far, and many people who've gotten grants are folks who are helping to build the infrastructure that will more meaningfully decentralize the storage of DIMO data and give people more options as to where they want to store their data with companies other than the one that we work for, which is Digital Infrastructure Inc., and make it more decentralized. Another person received a grant to develop DIMO credits, which, if you're familiar with Helium, is a lot like their data credit, where, okay, you don't want to hold a volatile, scary crypto asset called DIMO, but you still need to spend DIMO tokens. So you burn the DIMO tokens into DIMO credits, and now you have this nice stable asset that a developer can spend, but still, is integrated with the DIMO tokenomics. And that hasn't been put through as an improvement proposal yet. It's not part of the tokenomics today, but they're building kind of the specification and launching some of the early tools there, and we'll start to integrate it a bit with developer licenses and things like that. So those are some of the fun things that we can do. Anything that's for the good of the protocol, that's more open source, is a great candidate as well. So yeah, that's the high level of what it's been funding. I think it's about 15 million DIMO tokens that were allocated for it, and the vast majority still remain, and the grants are typically paid out in DIMO tokens to the people that are working on it. So that's been a cool program so far, and a lot more we can do with it.
Oh man, when you're saying like gaming in the metaverse, I'm just thinking like Pokemon Go meets Mario Kart sitting in your Tesla. I'm ready to apply. Where do I do it?
Atlas, you have your hand up. You have a question?
Yes, I do. So one, I'm definitely a big fan of DIMO. I got a small fleet myself, nothing like Suburban Cryptos. I do see you down there, Leslie. I saw you in Eat Denver, and your guys' DIMO stand was pretty sweet. But
Nice.
and my question for you is, you just said Helium. So I know with the AutoPis, you guys offer 1 year of service, right? Cellular service. After that year, you maybe not be able to save. I think a good idea would maybe to use Helium providers to be the cellular service and implement their SIM cards and onboard even more people that way. So I love that idea. And
I love it too. Not compatible with the AutoPi, and something that we would have loved to have done. Could not do. The Macron, though, the DIMO Macron comes with 3 years connectivity and uses the Helium IoT network. So I don't know if you knew that was an option.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, it connects to some of my IoT miners out there. So
Nice.
I definitely pass some data credits through there. And then my last question is, you guys have so many extra inputs on the AutoPis for future connections. Is that more so for like semi trucks that are trying to implement the computer systems that they have in there to integrate with that? Or is that just for future possible building on top of the DIMO AutoPi?
It's really for future stuff. The AutoPi is pretty unique in that it's a Raspberry Pi. It can run applications on the AutoPi itself. It can process data at a pretty good clip. You can actually power a screen from the USB connections that are on it. And we've seen demos and examples. I don't know, 2 years ago at East Denver, I don't know if you were there for that one, we showcased running an N64 emulator on the AutoPi. It's like you could actually run an N64 on the AutoPi. It's pretty funny. Exactly a use case. We talk about how big of a vision and like how broad is DIMO. Interestingly, that's not exactly a use case for vehicle data. It's more a use case for vehicle connectivity. And I think that's another interesting distinction here, is that not all of the use cases are necessarily about data, but they're about connectivity. And we think that cars can become more modular and become more customized, not just through the data, but through the way that people choose to connect and the apps they choose to download. But we're definitely more focused on building that app ecosystem on the data right now. And I think there'll come a time where we open up a developer program and people can put their own Docker images on their own AutoPis and experiment more on that stuff.
Thank you.
So I have another one. So it's been pretty cool seeing the tremendous growth over the last year for DIMO. Like, where do you guys, like, perfect world, what would you like to see DIMO in, say, 1, 3, and 5 years? I've heard things on other spaces where, having 1 million vehicles connected and having macarons hanging in AutoZone or something like that? Like, where do you guys see the company going in 3, and 5 years? I know things can change at a moment's notice, but what's the current trajectory for you guys?
Could start at the far future and work our way back, which is there's no macarons or any DIMO devices on the shelves anywhere because cars roll off the assembly line connected to DIMO because automakers have embraced this open protocol that just works for them. There's a reason Samsung, HTC, Sony, they like using Android as the operating system for their phones because it lets them get access, it lets their users get access to a ton of apps and they don't have to bother with all this expensive software development budget. They leave it to a team that's developing AOSP. So that is why we're integrated in the far future. That and yeah, every application, communication between autonomous vehicles, payments, the sensors and parking meters and whatever, all that is running over DIMO rails. And we power transactions, we power DMV registrations, we power car sales, all that kind of stuff. So we couldn't really, in the same way you can't really live without an email address and a smartphone today, but you could 30 years ago, like you shouldn't be able to really have a car without DIMO and have it work in our future mobility infrastructure without having it be connected to DIMO. So that's far future. Working back to that, yeah, we'll have devices on the shelves at AutoZone. We'll have a lot of people connecting, not just for the token, ideally less and less for the token and connecting more and more for the things it lets you do. People already pay a couple bucks, $8, $20, $30 a month for like fleet telematics for their fleet so they can see with other competitive apps, not with DIMO. Right now, no one's paying for that in that way yet. But there's value in being able to track your cars. And so we want people to get enough value from the apps that the token is not even part of the reason that they get involved. And we've actually seen a good amount of people already do that. There were some projects or some fleets that signed up where we just gave them the devices for free and they just wanted the telematics and we kept all the rewards and they were happy. We were happy. We did well with those. But that's the mid future. And then the near future is what you're seeing today. And that's a project that's getting going. We'll have more and more applications getting built, more and more interesting and integrated applications being built, more and more utility being added. You'll see improvements to the mobile app. You'll see improvements to other apps in the ecosystem. And it'll just become more and more fun to be connected.
I think one thing that you'll see in this year in particular is there will be some apps, you actually might not see it, but there will be some apps launch that are using the connectivity aspect that DIMO offers without advertising anything about DIMO. There will be a mobility app or there'll be automotive related apps that all of a sudden have a, hey, you can connect your car button through here. And a user will go through a connection process, a vehicle will be minted, a wallet will be created, but the user is not even going to feel that process. And that user is just going to have the experience of connecting their car and getting some value out of that app that they're using. And that's going to be, I think, a major milestone because it's not just going to be people using the DIMO mobile app anymore. The same way most of crypto, or look at Ethereum, Solana, wherever, it's not just a Solana app. It's not just a Ethereum app. It's a whole constellation of apps that people are using it for different use cases.
As far as you talked about the DIMO apps, and I keep going back to the marketplace and the app store. I'm not sure if everyone that's listening realizes. So if you get on to DIMO, and you don't have to have a hardware device. If you have certain software connections, you can just connect right now. But getting into that app store, what I think is really cool is that you can use some of those robust apps and schedule an oil change and have the mechanic come to your driveway and change the oil in your car. But you also earn DIMO tokens for doing that. So to me, it just seems like a win. So are there going to be more partners like that in the app store in the near future where we can use it and earn tokens?
Yes, and ideally, and this might take a little bit longer, but there'll be partners that are also going to accept those tokens as well. The idea is you don't have to talk about what tokens are or the blockchain or anything. You can just tell your friends it's an airline reward point for your car. You get some as part of signing up. You spend some money in the marketplace, you get some more, and then once you have some tokens, you can spend them on other stuff in the marketplace, maybe an oil change, maybe a fun app. We really want to create an ecosystem around using those tokens as opposed to a bi-directional or a single direction user acquires and hangs on to it.
I love that because anyone that listens to me, like I always say, the best thing for crypto is to use crypto, and then it's nice to have some sell pressure along with the buy pressure. So it just makes the value better for everyone. So that's amazing to hear because it's fun to earn these tokens for having this data and then be able to get something tangible. It'd be flipping awesome to have pay for an oil change in DIMO tokens. Love it. In the distant future, if that's how it is, but that would be so freaking cool.
So, what are some other interesting, forward-thinking DePIN protocols that you would like to see succeed? Also, we could add them in the comments. So,
There's a ton of people doing stuff around virtual power plants, Arcrene, PowerPod, React, Daylight. There's a ton around the virtual power plant space. I think that that's a super interesting area. I don't know who the winner's going to be. I don't know a ton about the energy space. I know it's very complicated, but I love the idea of improving like grid efficiency and resiliency in those areas. That's probably my number one area that I look to on the DePIN side as far as like where the activity seems to be.
Depends on your definitions of DePIN. A lot of people are lumping like networks like Akash and Filecoin and more like compute networks in. I think some of those are pretty cool. There's very few DePIN products we don't like. We know a lot of folks building in the space. It's 3DOS, Nosh. 3DOS is doing 3D printing. Nosh is doing like a DoorDash style meal delivery thing. Great relationship with Helium. They obviously were using them in our device, and they helped to get people really excited about DIMO in the early days. So even like projects you might think are competitive with us, we're generally pretty happy about all the activity in the space, and very rising tide lifts all boats. Like if other DePIN projects are succeeding, it's just helping grow the space and prime everybody for what we're doing as well. And so, yeah, we love to see all these guys succeeding, and a lot of them are very thoughtful. One thing I think is super interesting about DePIN, as opposed to maybe not as characteristic of every industry, but a lot of DePIN founders that I meet are, if they're doing a cell network thing, they've worked in like cellular for 15 years. If they're doing an automotive thing, they've worked in automotive. If they're doing a 3D printing thing, they've run a 3D printing business for 10 years. Like it's not just people who stumbled upon crypto and think crypto is cool and are now trying to go take on some industry that they don't have experience in using blockchain. It's a lot of very experienced people, and they're really interested. I think part of it, given that background, and also part of it, seeing the Helium IoT network have such a massive supply, but the demand not quite getting there in time, and then seeing Helium pivot to 5G to try to find product market fit. I think everyone's really trying to find a real business there, like real demand for the network that they're building sooner. So they're thinking more practically and trying to find product market fit. I think the bear market was good for that too. And also shout out to WeatherXM. I like those guys too. I was just looking at their box here in the office. We have one of their weather stations here on the shelf.
Is it the Wi-Fi or the Helium?
Wi-Fi.
All right. I have one of their Helium ones on my roof, and I got a darn thing got disconnected, and I had it for I think better part of a year, and kind of reconnect it. But yeah, I love it's interesting with the DePIN. I remember the TIPIN stuff, or when we were calling it that. But it seems like a lot of it comes back to Helium, and I think that's what kind of got DePIN started before it was even called DePIN. And so it's just really exciting for like the people powered network. A lot of stuff comes back to using Helium as an example and even a use case, because I think the IoT network that Helium built, if you're familiar with TTN or the Things network, is amazing. But for anything moving, the Helium network is, as long as there's coverage, is pretty fantastic. And so to see that network that got built a couple of years ago being used by DIMO is pretty fabulous, because I have quite a few hotspots, and it's nice to see that those data packets getting passed through. I think it's going to be an interesting bull market, as now when people start having money and want to start building more DePIN projects.
I'm always generally excited for innovation. I think that's good in entrepreneurship. There's always going to be, I think one thing in crypto that's I guess it happens in all markets, is you have this reductivism at some point, which is you start with Ethereum and then it's let's go to DeFi, and then it's like an even narrower focus from DeFi down to staking, and then even from staking down to restaking, and it's everyone keeps like building smaller, and DePIN gives a lot of new surface area for what crypto can be, which is why I think I'm glad to see it emerging as such a good option.
So another question that just came up when you were talking about the what you just said. So currently, you guys are on the Polygon Network, and it seems like a lot of people are pivoting to go to Solana and love it or hate it. That's just how it is. Are you guys happy? Excuse me, that's not a good question. Are you guys?
Only one project pivoted. A lot of projects launched on Solana. Only Helium really pivoted, and they were running their own blockchain for a long time, which is a real pain. We don't have any problems with Polygon. Things are pretty smooth there. I think in general, the EVM space is changing a lot. There's new L2s, there's Polygon's proposal for aggregation layer, there's the CDK that they have. Overall, what blockchain you're on or like migrating blockchains is an extremely challenging thing. Look how long that took Helium, and there has to be like some real major like either issues or opportunities to want to make that change. But right now, everything's pretty great on Polygon.
Awesome. And just for clarity, I Polygon a lot. I like the speed. I think it's an amazing layer too. And I'm also invested. When it first launched, I got in when it was 2 cents per tokens. I'm happy you're staying on Polygon. So I wish more people would build on it. Darn it, raise the value up of it.
Atlas, your hand must be like extremely tired from being up for so long. Do you want to ask your question?
Yeah, no worries. Just listen to this good information. I do support Helium as well, so it's nice to hear so much about it. I got Helium miners in my business, my house, my other business. But my question for you guys, I did see something you guys suggested to the community, essentially about raising the rewards, like not the allocation from the tokens, but like maybe staking as an incentive to raise your level or to increase your overall earnings. Is that just an idea right now? Or is that something that may be a possibility in the future?
Yeah, I think I tweeted that out, right? And it was an honest question. It wasn't like a hint that we're going to do something. It was a debate we were having internally, but one that no one really had their mind made up on. It's the two sides of it, and just the proposal that he's referring to is right now in DIMO, the longer you stay connected, the bigger multiplier you get on your weekly rewards. And there's a fixed amount that goes out every week, so people all split that. If somebody else has a higher multiplier, technically it makes everyone who has a lower multiplier earn a smaller share of the total. It's close to 1 million tokens that go out each week. So it's divvied up based on your seniority almost. And the question was, if someone stakes DIMO tokens, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 DIMO tokens, they get an extra high multiplier where they earn a bit more each week. And it's an interesting idea. It makes sure that tokens are going to people who have already signaled they're very committed and are holding a bunch of the token, and it gives them people that are already very aligned, it gives them more ownership, which is great. On the other hand, there's nothing really useful. There's nothing useful about being connected for a long time. There's nothing really happening with that. With Ethereum, with staking, you're putting your money up to validate and secure the network. With DeFi, when you're staking, you're providing liquidity for someone taking out a loan. There's like real direct value from the staking. A lot of projects will do staking where it's like staking for staking's sake to just add gamification. And so personally, I'm torn on it, but it's just an idea. And DIMO's a decentralized project. Other people could propose whatever type of reward system they want. We are definitely going to take a look at rewards this year. If anything, just from a technical scalability standpoint, they go out each Monday. It takes a few hours now because of how many cars are connected. We're paying the gas costs, pushing rewards directly into people's wallet. If you use Helium, you're probably used to claiming rewards. So you go in and you tap to claim your rewards, and that's a bit more scalable, a bit better from a technology standpoint. So we'll address that at some point this year, and maybe some of these other elements could be considered at the same time.
Also, hi Scott. He just got a new promotion. Congrats.
What's up, everybody? Yeah, I actually got to meet Alex, Joe, and a few others, and
I think he tried unmuting there, but then he muted himself again on accident. So.
No,
yeah.
he's totally talking.
Oh no, he is. Oh no, I can't hear you, Scott.
You
Shit.
did
Oh
it
no,
to
it's all
him.
good.
It's karma.
Yeah, we got to do a peak in DIMO. We got to talk at some cool events at Denver. Super bullish on DIMO, and I love what Rob said. The rising tide lifts the DePIN marina. Yeah, we all need to be helping each other out, co-marketing. All the community overlap is like a no-brainer. Yeah, it's what made me bullish on DIMO even before I worked at Peak. Yeah, like shout out Polygon too. Like Polygon and Peak, we all get along. Shout out to Kendra. Shout out. We all can work together. It doesn't need to be like,
And
yo,
Kendra's
you're
great.
this. Yeah, Kendra's the best. And she was like one of the first people that like was like, yo, DPIN's gonna be the next thing. Like, you want to do like Twitter Spaces? Her and shout out Smokey too. Yeah, so it's really cool like that. Demo ain't going nowhere. I'm super bullish on Polygon, and this is coming from someone from Peak. So yeah, I love it and glad to be here with you guys. And Alex, it was really cool to catch up with you at the
Yeah,
booth.
man.
And I told Alex I used to go, yo, imagine you're at Comic Con or the automotive thing next to NFT NYC, and there's a demo booth like with cars and a bunch of other stuff. So it's super cool to see Alex
Sir.
and Rob. Yeah, it's coming. I can't wait. I can't wait to see, man. So bullish on you guys and everything you're doing, man. I
Thank
love it.
you. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Scott. Appreciate it. Appreciate what you guys are doing too.
If you guys have any other questions, feel free to come up and ask. I don't know. I think Suburban might have one more. I can't remember, but I know we're going to wrap up shortly. So I just wanted to make sure everybody was asking all of the questions that they wanted to, and or you were discussing all the things you wanted to in the space today.
I thank you so much for having me. I've actually got a hard out. I'm 3 minutes late for my next one. So let me hop, and hopefully Alex can stay and answer a few more questions.
Yeah.
But thanks again for hosting. Thanks, Suburban. Thanks, everyone who came up and asked a question. Thanks, everyone for listening.
Rob,
Appreciate
thank you. You're the best.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
So yeah, again, if anybody has any other questions, then feel free to ask. If not, we can go ahead and wrap up. Suburban, did you have anything else that you wanted to add?
Not a question per se, but more as a shout out to Alex and the rest of the team. If you're involved in Demo and if there's ever any issues, I've been on their Discord, and it's pretty cool that the co-founders are in the Discord helping out problems. And to me, what I think that really sets the Demo team apart, and this is going to come across a little patronizing, but probably hands down the most like attentive and helpful customer service and tech team. If there's an issue, I don't think I ever waited more than a day to get a response. And usually it's like almost instantaneous. And then as the community is growing, there's a lot of helpful community members on the Discord helping out. So just want to say thank you to Alex and your team and for being on Discord and being there. I think that someone on there said have probably the most expensive customer service team in the DePIN space because the co-founders are on there. So just want to say thank you for helping out and your entire team.
We think that customer service is super important to just helping people have the right experience and to the success of the project. We put a lot of effort into that.
I will tell you, it's definitely noticed, and there's always people that'll grumble, but I would say that's the exception, not the rule. Like everyone is fantastic. So if anyone is thinking about getting into Demo and you want to get a device or just connect your smart car connection and you run into any issues, or you just want to be a part of the Demo community, I implore you to hop on their Discord. A lot of really smart and really helpful people on there.
Atlas, do you have your hand up?
Yeah, I got one last closing question for you from my end. How would one, if they wanted to help out the Demo ecosystem or get into the industry, what would the entry level requirement be?
It depends on what you want to do. There's so many ways. We've hired multiple community members onto the team. Usually it's just people who are answering questions in Discord, being helpful. And it also depends on what your skills and your background is. Obviously, there's lots of opportunities for developers to build on Demo. There's people like some of the folks in the crowd today who are helping to get other cars connected. There's a lot of options, and it really depends. Coming into the Discord is a great way to talk to other people and find out like how are they contributing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
I want to
you.
thank you guys. Thank our hosts for hosting this. It's been really awesome, and we love any opportunity we can get to talk a little bit about Demo.
Yeah, we'll have to have you back in a few months
Of
to,
course.
go over everything and where you're evolving. But thank you so much for showing up today and for explaining what Demo is. And hopefully it was educational for everyone. It is a recorded space. So again, if you want to repost it, share it with anybody, it would mean the world to us. I know it would to Demo as well. Also, check my pinned tweets for future DePIN spaces we have in the pipeline. And don't forget to DM us for a free Demo device today, because we will be giving them away, Suburban Crypto and I. And yeah, just spread the word. And I love you guys, all of you, the listeners. I see you. I was spamming you with hearts. And for everybody that came up today, Atlas, Scott, William, Alex, Rob, like, DIMO in general. You're the best, and I really appreciate you.
Thanks again for having us. We really appreciate it, and we'll be back next time.
Let's go.
Thank you.
Have a good
Thank
one.
you.
Guys, I think we're going to end this space. So thank you all for showing up, and we will be back soon. Bye.